Good evening, Kings Park. This is Dr. Egan, and joined with me this evening with
Lily Egan.
Lily Egan, my daughter, for Mystery Instruction Night. So I am going to share my screen. I have a lesson plan prepared, and tonight is going to be a bit of a history lesson. And the aim of my lesson tonight is how is our current reality today similar to NASA's successful failure 50 years ago in 1970. So in the late 1950s and 1960s, the US and Russia were competing in a space race. On July 20th, 1969, as part of Apollo 11's mission, Neil Armstrong and later Edwin Buzz Aldrin became the first men to walk on the moon. This secured a big victory for the US in the space race. Approximately 723 people around the world viewed the televised lunar landing and moonwalk.
That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. Neil Armstrong, July 20th, 1969. Okay. Following Apollo 11, Apollo 12 launched into space on November 14th, 1969 from the Kennedy Space Center, Florida. Apollo 12, the second manned mission to land on the moon, was planned and executed as a precision landing. This set the stage for Apollo 13, which was to be the third manned mission to land and walk on the moon.
Apollo 13. The craft was launched from Kennedy Space Center on April 11th, 1970. On April 13th, 2 days later, an oxygen tank failed, and there was an explosion which caused damage to the craft. Houston, we've had a problem.
Apollo 13 timeline. The explosion knocked out the command module's normal supply of electricity, light, and water. They were also losing much-needed oxygen into space. The landing on the moon was aborted, and a plan was needed to save the astronauts and return them safely to Earth.
In a series of never-before-tested maneuvers, the astronauts powered down the command service module and powered up the lunar module, also known as the LEM, which was supposed to be used to touch down on the moon's surface. The CSM would later be used during re-entry. And a makeshift carbon monoxide filter was created from various spare parts to reduce carbon monoxide levels in the craft and keep the three men alive.
History lesson. Rather than landing on the moon and then taking off again, Apollo 13 used the moon's gravity as a slingshot to propel them back towards Earth. On April 14th, Apollo 13's crew disappeared behind the moon between 6:12 p.m. and 6:46 p.m.
And the fact that they disappeared was really scary because while they were on the backside of the moon over here, they lost transmission with the craft. Return to Earth. The return to Earth involved two really important details. The craft needed a precise re-entry angle in order to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere safely. Apollo 13 had to approach at an inclination no shallower than 5.3 degrees and no steeper than 7.7 degrees. This required a manual engine burn, which again had never been done before in space. They also were not sure if the heat shield was fully operational. It was not known if the shield had been damaged during the explosion.
The successful failure. Tomorrow, April 17, 2020, marks the 50th anniversary of the safe re-entry of Apollo 13. The mission was called a successful failure because even though an explosion crippled the primary spacecraft 2 days in, the crew returned safely to Earth thanks to the determined work of the ground crew at Mission Control. So
if we go back to our initial aim, which was How is our current reality today similar to NASA's successful failure 50 years ago in 1970?
In our current reality today, we are in uncharted waters.
Like Apollo 13, there are no manuals of practice sequences to reference. We are all writing the manual as we go.
Our determined work and resilience today will be of vital importance to our success.
We will get through this, and we will land safely on our feet when this pandemic is over. Tomorrow night is Friday night, and my suggestion is to make it a family night. A couple of suggested activities. You could rent Apollo 13, and that could be your family movie night. Make some popcorn. You could have a family game night. We've been playing cards. We played the game of life one night over here. You could go for a long walk in your neighborhood, making sure to practice good social distancing. You could cook a family dinner together, or you could simply go through some old photos, pictures on your iPad, your iPhone, or maybe you have a couple of binders of pictures from years past. And don't forget, we are Kings Park Strong, family pride service. That's what we're all about. We will get through this. We will get through this together. I hope you enjoyed my mystery instruction night with my assistant, Lily Ann Egan. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great evening. Bye-bye now.